There we
All
go.
right. So I have a rare opportunity. So here we go. We're gonna we might have a we might have a we might have a person where we're
Ooh,
gonna yes might have a person where we're gonna have a discussion.
wonderful.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
We're
W-
gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. Um,
Okay, well, I'm gonna get comfy,
yeah.
but if
So
I can.
do we want to start talking about man baby shit pants?
What are we discussing?
Man baby shit pants.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Okay. So I Donald Trump today lashed out at Democratic lawmakers,
Mhm.
and he is suggesting that Republicans should consider expelling Democrats from their shit. Expel them. They need to be expelled
Right.
out of Congress. And his reasoning is, he says, the Democrats are really out of control. They've lost everything, especially their minds. These radical left lunatics are into the impeachment thing again.
Yep.
Maybe it should be for cleaning up. Maybe it should be the one because they don't know why they want to impeach him. And so he says maybe
Mhm.
it should be for cleaning up the mess that they left at the border or the highest inflation in our country's history, or it should be the incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan, or Russia, 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 Russia. Can you say Russia one more time?
Say it one more
Um,
time. Russia.
yeah, one more time. So he's saying that Democrats are dishonest and using the same playbook from his first term, which
Mhm.
says that they should impeach him. They should impeach him. Oh, Evelyn joined. Oh,
Hi.
let's see if we can. Let's see if we, and
Hello.
hi Rouser. Let's see if we can
Hello,
get it.
everybody.
So right, so now Trump is actively calling on Republicans to expel Democrats from Congress.
Of course. Of course he
Um,
is.
because oh yay, great, awesome.
Hello.
I didn't think you'd fall for it.
I'm like, hello. It's Friday. You caught me late.
Yeah, and what a Friday indeed. Hi, everybody.
No.
Uh Evelyn, you have a really profoundly cool bio, so that's why I had to tag you once and see if you would do it.
That is very sweet of you to say. And I just feel like I'm a regular person attempting to make sense of what's going on around me, just like everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
Well, but
Yeah.
you're one of those cool mortgage broker people, and I have never been in that. I've never been in the. I'm an info security person. I
Right.
that the whole housing thing is something I completely don't understand at all, and I've tried to report on it,
Mhm.
and it hasn't gone well.
It's really complicated right now because what is happening is creating like the way that we know how to understand what's is diverging. Everything is changing so fast. We're not able to use the tools that we have for understanding the market to understand the market
Right,
because it's just everything that's happening with the tariffs in the stock market is creating so much volatility that the bond market is ceasing to be the safe place for investors to put their money when the stock market gets scary
Which
due
is
to like
terrifying
tariffs.
when the bond
Exactly.
market goes.
Exactly. And so
Mhm.
it's the housing market is getting interesting right now because people are smart and buyers are afraid to go all in if they are worried about whether they're going to have a job. You know,
Mhm.
I work with people who are scientists from other countries and they're terrified that if the funding for their project gets cut, they'll be out of here. So how are they
Right.
going to buy a
yeah,
house right now?
I mean,
And so I yeah.
defaulting on a house is something you don't
Nobody
want
wants
to
to
do.
do that.
No, you don't want
No.
to do that.
No. Unless you're like a billionaire old and you don't care, right? Then you don't have those same feelings about personal accountability maybe. And I'm sure there are some awesome oligarchs out there, but we're not hearing from any of them these days.
No. 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 Shit, no. We are definitely not. I would say so. Like, here's an example from my perspective. So, my partner has an ex who lives in what is currently the zestimate for the house that she lives in is literally like $685,000,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like 465,000 in equity in that house
Oh no. Wow.
because they haven't done. She's my partner, and they haven't done this shit yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so my partner has tried. I have watched for 2 years. My partner's tried to get her to sell that house,
Mhm.
and she won't do it. And I'm like, why would you not for that much money?
Mhm.
And what's the reason?
The school district.
Which, as a mom,
Yeah.
I know your mom. I know your mom. But mother of four, it depending on which child, it did make a difference. I had
Well,
a
I mean,
special needs. I had gifted. I had to. School districts really mattered. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
no, I know, I get that completely. And in this case, yeah, I mean, our youngest child is a fairly gifted child, but
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing: $465,000.
I tell it.
You split that 2 ways, that's $230,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes
You
sense. It makes sense.
you could take a small chunk of that and rent a property
It's
in
No,
true.
the
you're right, Wendy. You're right.
in the district and still have enough money to put a down
Yeah,
payment on a house later.
I agree. You're right.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about you.
Here's the thing.
Oh shit! Now my
No.
Here's the thing, though.
okay, all right. So
Because, like, the reason why my mom doesn't want the reason why my mom doesn't want to move is because we also have bunnies, and bunnies pee on carpet, which is terrible stains. We're probably going to have to replace the entire carpet.
Oh yeah.
Room. So we can't necessarily rent a place that has a space for our rabbits. Plus, also the school that I go to, I would like to continue going there, of course, but we can rent in the same district. There's also a lot of problems already with the house. Electrical problems. We might have to rewire the entire.
Mm.
so that one is a mortgage broker.
Right. I
That's why
I worked for a land developer. She has it. You're adorable.
Thank you. But like we might have to replace the entire electrical and the kitchen. The driveway is collapsing terribly. There is issues in the backyard with runoff. And there's a bunch of other issues, and my mom thinks that it would be a good idea to, at least while we still have the rabbits, which is probably going to be 2 more years, which is when I'm going to be out of high school. She thinks that in 2 more years, if she can get the house in a little bit better shape, hopefully it'll sell for more money and better shape. And also, she doesn't have to worry about me or the bunnies and she can move to somewhere like Kansas City because she thinks that she might want to go back to Kansas. And she can't necessarily do that with me right now.
By the way, Elaine, the angry feminist who just joined the chat, by the way.
Hi,
Yeah, Elaine lives in Kansas.
Oh.
Well, she lives in Overland Park. All right, well, there you go. There's the story about the house.
Okay.
Now you've heard it from my kids. So,
Yeah. That's
but
the
I
thing,
think,
though, there can be, it can really make sense to do something, but then there can be so many reasons that, small obstacles pile up into a great big pile of now I can't do this.
right.
And so, I get it. It makes so much sense in a way. And then
Mhm.
hearing the other side of it, that also makes sense. It's a huge undertaking.
Well, so my parents live in the East Bay.
Oh, cool. So do I.
Oh, how far away are you from Danville?
I'm about maybe 20 or 25 miles from Danville. I live in West Contra Costa County, so,
Mm.
it's maybe a half-hour drive to Danville.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my brother lives in Martinez.
Oh, I live closer to Martinez. I live in a small town called Pinole.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know it well. Know it well. And then yeah, my parents live in Danville, and my dad has said the same thing. Like he constantly tracks the value of that house. And he's
Mm.
he's a I'll just say this. My father was a 49-year veteran of a tech company in which he was the 16th employee from 1976.
Yeah.
So that tells you how big of a house he lives in.
Hmm.
But yeah, I asked my mom, I was like, would you ever consider selling this house? And she's like, no, never. Just never ever. It'd be I put it this way. The house that they used to live in, that house is in the South Bay, Los Gatos.
Hmm.
And it was a right home, by the way. A very early right home.
Mm.
And my dad sold it to an Apple executive, and I think they got like 26 or 27 million for it. And then they
Yeah.
bought
Just a little.
just yeah.
They just got a little bit for it.
Well, here's the thing. I tell people this. This is crazy Americana. So that house is actually in Monte Sereno, and the story behind Monte Sereno is, it was adjacent to Los Gatos, and there was a retired Navy admiral who lived on the top of the mountain, and Los Gatos was going to annex the mountain and the area around it into the city, and he didn't want
Mm.
that, so he founded his own city,
Right.
and it's called Monte Sereno. And so when you would walk from my dad's house down into downtown Los Gatos or whatever, there was a path, and along the path there was this ranch house with a big fence around it. And I always ask my dad, I'm like, who lives there? And he's like, it's some asshole artist that none of us
Oh.
like. And if you run into him like in restaurants or whatever, he will like heckle people and shit. And I'm like, oh God, that guy sounds terrible. Like, oh, that sounds like a real asshole. He's like, oh yeah, like none of the people in the town of Los Gatos like him. And so one day I just asked him, like, what's his name? And he was like, oh, I think his name is like Thomas or something. And I went, Thomas Kincaid? And he went, yeah, he like paints pictures of houses and shit. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes,
Right.
that's him. And I'm like, holy shit. So you're telling me that guy is that big of an asshole? And he's like, yes, he is.
Wow.
Jeez.
So if you have a Thomas Kincaid hanging up in your house, I will just tell you that the actual person was never a fun person to be around.
Gosh, I'm glad I don't have that.
Ew.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't have that.
Thomas Cage, wherever you are.
Well, I actually ran into him once.
Really?
You'll laugh about this. So, this is I'm a druid, so I tell stories, and my stories are actually pretty funny. So one year I was visiting my parents, and we were, and so I walked down into Los Gatos with my dad to have like lunch or whatever one day, because I'll just say my dad was a two-digit number Oracle employee, so one of the original 20 or whatever, and so. Uh, we walked down into town one day to get lunch, and so there was like there's this burger shop down in the main drag of Los Gatos called All American Burger. And at the time, I was going through my militantly anti-Microsoft phase. And so I had my little Unix penguin t-shirt on or whatever. And so and it said like fuck Microsoft on it or whatever. And so
Nice.
so I walked into All American Burger to order a burger, and the guy looked at it and he was like, "You don't want to be in here." And I was like, "Oh, why not?" And so I turned around and I was like, Netflix employee, Salesforce employee, Netflix employee, Silverlight employee. Oh my God, only Microsoft is coming here. This is disgusting. I have to leave. And so I walked out. Well, my dad was over at the Techno Burrito, which is right across from there. Well, my father had a very staunch habit about getting me perpetually into trouble by overloading my ass with my mouth. So I got my burrito when I sat down, and there were like 2 or 3 other people like in the burrito shop eating or whatever. My dad was like, "Hey, I have a question. Well, what do you think about Apple?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean that computer company back in the 70s that made a computer that doubled as an egg cooker because the thing got so hot or whatever." And then I just started bad mouthing them up and down. Well, there was a large, heavyset gentleman behind us who kept grunting every time I opened my mouth. So I just kept ranting and raving, and my dad was just laughing hysterically about it or whatever. And so he got up to go to the bathroom or whatever. He came back out, and I was still just my dad just feeding it, and I was doing. And he walked over to the table, and he looked at me, and he said, "Son, I think that you would want to be careful when you say things and exhibit humility because you never know who's going to hear you." And like I said, I was young. I was an arrogant asshole kid, technology person at the time. I jumped up and I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm going to dead name myself. Hi, I'm Bill." And he's like, "Hi, I'm Steve Wozniak." And I went, and then I looked at my dad, and my dad was completely in laughter, beside himself. And Wozniak looks at my dad and says, "You need to teach him some humility." And then walked away. And I sat down and I looked at my dad. "You're a fucking asshole."
Oh, jeez.
But he did it again because
Why
the
not?
other guy, yeah, he like, "So let's talk about Java." And I turned around and looked, and I didn't see anybody. And I was like, "It's a piece of shit language. Whoever fucking developed that is a piece of shit." And out of the bathroom walks this gray-haired gentleman who gives me this strange look. And I looked at him and I went, "Peter, right?" And he nodded his head and walked off. And so that was, turns out that was Peter Gosling's, the developer of the Java programming language from Sun Microsystems or whatever. So, right. So, yeah, my father perpetually would try to get me into fucking trouble. Yes, this is my life. I am the constant target and butt of jokes for other people.
But
I love it.
how many other times had those people heard similar shit talked about their products too? You can't have been the first or the last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tons of people. Tons of people. When my sister got married to her lifelong partner, like we did this boat trip or whatever, and like there were like hundreds of industry people that I would never have contact with, but I do because of my family. That, yeah, I mean, just there were a few occasions there where people, um, tempers flared in the wrong direction. um, Bathrobe guy, thank you, by the way. Bathrobe guy is really
Night.
so. I'm shocked, and I'm looking through the chat. Nobody's asked any trans girl questions because people always ask me trans questions on my lives at least once.
Nobody's asked?
No, nobody's asked me what's in my pants, so I'm thankful for that.
Wow.
I'm thankful for that.
Oh, Bentley. That was Bentley. Sorry.
So I have to ask, what do you guys feel about the Harvard situation?
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get rid of him.
Oh, you're gonna get rid of him?
He's gonna bark.
He's gonna bark.
Come on, Bean.
His name's Bean.
Bentley. I call him Bean. That's why.
What kind of dog is he?
Bentley is a come here. Bentley is a Shepherdor. His mom was a chocolate lab, and his dad was a Malinois Shepherd. And he's super spoiled. And he's just protecting me from, whatever death he believes that I could, that could happen out here in my yard, I guess.
because all dogs are going to do that.
The great danger that lurk.
Yes, all the dangers, trip on a little divot. Could happen.
All right, so Harvard.
What's that?
Harvard.
Yeah, Trump has threatened to rip
Harvard.
Trump has threatened to rip Harvard's tax exempt status.
He can just fuck off. Sorry.
See, here's what I want to know though: is it
How
because
is that even gonna work?
Do what?
I just don't think he's going to get away with all of this.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody has to just constantly keep saying fuck off, that's legal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like all of these executive orders don't really have the weight of law. So why are we acting as if and giving into threats, right? I mean, it's like we're dealing with a consummate bully here.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And so we know how that goes.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
You can't appease a bully. I don't know what the solution is, but I think Harvard and other universities need to really push back and push back hard.
So, I think everyone push back. All of them.
Yeah. So the Ivy Leagues have all banded together and formed a fund.
Right.
That's one thing. But then here's the other thing. So, and we've talked about this before. So with executive orders, so there are things that an executive order can do. There are other things that an executive order can't do. So the things that an executive order can't do, an executive order cannot negate the Constitution.
Right.
So when the birthright citizenship bullshit goes up to Supreme Court, like next week or the week after, I mean, by all accounts, that executive order is going to get shot down because Trump tried to executive order that birthright citizenship isn't a thing.
It's not going to fly.
And that's not going to fly.
Right.
But here's the other thing.
You can't amend the Constitution.
Yeah, you can't, through executive order, amend the Constitution. the Constitution requires a state convention to amend the Constitution. When they did that for Prohibition, you remember there was a time in which alcohol was completely illegal because it was an amendment in the Constitution. To repeal the Prohibition Amendment required a state convention. So Donald Trump can't wave his hands and say executive order, it's no longer a thing.
Get it?
That can't happen. Here's the other thing. An executive order cannot rescind an existing law.
I can't get away. Keep talking.
Yeah. It can't rescind an existing law. It can try to nullify that law, but that turns into a judiciary challenge. But it cannot erase an existing law. And then here's the third thing. The third thing is that all executive orders can be reversed.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're
right.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is the problem with attempting to govern.
But what a cleanup! Go ahead.
Order.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
The last 3 or 4 presidents have done this because they've been stymied by Congress, but then the next president coming in just rescinds a bunch of it. And so I feel like we're just sloshing around back and forth, right? It's just this is not good for us.
No, it isn't. Because it is attempting to govern by executive unitary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And governing by executive unitary ignores the 2 other branches of government.
Right. Right.
And
it ignores us and our voice.
Yes.
Right? Like the government is supposed to serve us. The president is supposed to be a public servant, not a king.
Yes.
He works for us. We don't work for him.
Nope.
So what the fuck is going on right now? And how do we, what I want to know is, there's so many of us, we need to turn this thing on its head.
Yeah.
Protests, writing letters to Congress people. It feels like not nearly enough,
I agree. I completely agree.
So, yeah, there's a larger perspective that goes up from this. And yeah, I agree with you. We can't govern by executive unitary. We just can't.
Right.
And there's too much case law against. Let's be fair. So, for instance, the birthright citizenship thing, that's gone up to SCOTUS 4 times. And there were SCOTUS panels that were much more conservative back in the 40s and the 70s when it happened versus the SCOTUS that there is now. And they shot it down. So here's the big thing. So the birthright citizenship deal, that's the real constitutional test. If that case gets up to SCOTUS and then they do something to overturn it, that's the moment we're fucked or we're not fucked. Because the 14th Amendment has a very clear language.
Yeah.
That language is anyone born in this country. Oh yeah, of course, Evelyn. I just wanted to snag you. We'll get Elaine after you go. Because Elaine's fun. Elaine's fun. She's the angry feminist lesbian who makes fun of me all the time.
I love it.
As she should.
Well,
maybe.
That's because I make the random pussy comments whenever the cat walks by. I know I'm bad. I'm a very bad trans woman. Don't be. If anyone's going to be trans, don't be trans like me.
I'll tell my niece not to follow you as a role.
No, please don't. I'm not a role model. I am not. No, hell no. No,
or maybe
I am not.
I will. Or maybe I will.
I do that at your own risk. Oh, and baby Beatrice joined. Hey, baby Beatrice, does that mean that if I invite you after Evelyn leaves, you'll come in and talk? Because the whole purpose of the live is to talk to other normal people.
I saw that, Craig. Possibly. It could happen. It could boil.
Well, we'll try Beatrice and Elaine and see who he is. So
You guys have a really awesome evening. Hang in there. We'll get through it together, right?
that's
Really, that's
end
what
of
it
every live
takes.
session. The only way we do this is together. Evelyn,
Okay. Love to you all.
thank you.
Love.
Oh gosh, that was great. So here we go. Now we're gonna try Beatrice, and then we're gonna give Beatrice a minute, and then we're gonna grab Elaine.
Do it. Do it.
Oh my
Do it.
God, Beatrice said no.
What?
Hi, Beatrice.
No.
Come, Beatrice.
Yes, please.
Please come. Don't leave me here by myself.
Yes.
Do not leave me here by myself. Please come. Please.
Well, here, let's grab Elaine, and then we'll talk through the remaining shit. Because I want to talk about the actions post from today,
Yes. Okay.
because that one's important, and there's a lead into that. Here we go. Here we go. Got Elaine. So there we go. Because the actions of a diverse America. So now she's saying she can't. Okay, great.
Fuck, you're stuck with me? The show's gonna go down real quick. The live is just gonna
I don't.
take-
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't believe that.
Let's talk about your.
But anyway, so people have asked fairly consistently when I was going to publish works.
Okay.
So over the course of the next, it's going to take me about 15 articles to do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's going to take me like 15 articles to do it.
Okay.
But that's the recession survival guide. Oh, there's Elaine. Okay, I feel much.
I
safer
really
now,
think
Elaine.
it's really interesting that you two have to beg women to come. I never had that problem.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, if memory serves.
So people have asked fairly repeatedly for me to publish works, and so the next, I want to say it's going to be between 15 and 20. The next 15 and 20 actions of a diverse America posts
Okay.
are going to be the recession survival guide.
That's
Mhm.
good.
Which is basically a book I wrote like 15 years ago, which was basically how to survive living on $35,000 a year. Because you can do it.
Yeah.
I know I've done
Maybe.
it. So Elaine, I think you read the actions of and even commented on today's actions post. What did you find about my logic therein?
Well, I think we agree about a lot.
Okay. Well, see, there we go.
Yeah.
Because I shop at Aldi for a lot of dry goods and canned goods and stuff like that.
Oh, do you guys? I don't have an Aldi out here. I hear it's.
Well, there's
pretty good.
another chain that we used to have in Kansas City called Save a Lot.
Yeah.
I think there's still some locations around here, but that's another one. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. But for the fresh stuff, I always go to. There's a local. It's family owned, which I like that.
Yeah.
Called Hen House, and
Right.
that's
So-
what I. That's what I like to. Yeah, that's what I like to. That's where I like to buy produce and meat and fish and dairy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's the core of it. The today's actions post was literally survive on $200 a month in groceries. You can do it.
Mhm.
It's actually not at all hard to do. And
Mm.
so I've done it. And Eileen G, yeah, Japanese white rice, that's like a staple. That's a staple in my diet. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and so but the reason that I used boxed because that's what I wrote the original set of articles about, boxed, Amazon, and then Aldi's. But here's the thing: local markets, a local produce market, you can't beat that price.
Farmers
Yeah.
market, yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, you go.
that's true. Yeah,
I don't know about where you guys live, but here in Atlanta, there's like on Saturday, there's like 5 local farmers markets.
it's the same here in Washington, in Western Washington. There's a lot of farmers markets every Saturday.
Yeah, if you buy fresh produce from a farmer's market, you literally will spend 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70% less than you will going to a chain grocery store.
Mhm.
And then in the case of Aldi's, or Trader Joe's and Aldi's are essentially almost the same store.
Mhm.
You know, you're basically buying generic. You're
Mhm.
basically buying generic food, but the generic food price invariably blows the doors off of name brand price food. And the taste profile isn't any different. I am a huge fan, for instance, of the Tombstone frozen pizzas.
Mhm.
And the iteration of those that you buy at Aldi's are $2.
Mhm.
If you buy brand name Tombstone in a grocery store, it's $7.
Yeah.
That's a category. I mean, that's many categories in difference in price. So I've talked with Miranda about this, and one of the other writers. We're also going to announce. She's not going to come and visit us this evening, but we're adding a new writer to the publication.
I love it.
Aubrey is her name.
Nice.
I live
So
with her.
so I was late coming on. Who's moving to Kansas City?
Um, Kansas City, right? So that is my partner's ex
Oh, okay.
is considering moving to Kansas City,
Okay.
or would like to eventually at
Plug
some
it in.
point.
Gotta
Mhm.
plug in. All right.
Well,
So
I don't know if
here's the
it's
thing.
probably more affordable than Atlanta, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would tend to think so. I will see what happens, but I would tend to think so. So here's the thing. So literally, if I give you guys like 155,000 words of this is how you literally survive on $35,000 a year, and they publish that as surviving the recession, is that a book that you would buy for $8?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Well, then yeah.
Absolutely.
So then, yeah, from purely from a production perspective, I have that book 95% written. I'm literally just going to publish it in all of those articles. And when the article run is over, I'm literally going to EPUB it and put it out on Google and Apple and whatever else.
Mhm.
And then everybody will get a link and have fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Get a link and have fun with it. As long as I can talk one of my kids into helping me do artwork or whatever.
Nice.
Yes, artwork because artwork is important.
Mhm.
So we
Take it with
talked
you.
about Harvard and how fucked up that is.
Mm-hmm.
We did not talk about the queer ecology thing. This was a really fascinating article that I read. So, um, uh, there's a guy in the shadow of a nuclear power plant. Will Collins is his name, and his partner have transformed their 22 acres of barren Spanish dirt into a sanctuary where queer bodies can reconnect with soil and growing and everything else. While there are ecology efforts that are happening in queer spaces, basically.
Mhm.
Wendy Parker was talking about this.
Mhm.
They have a co-op gardening effort in their
Yeah.
locale, and so in all of these progressive spaces, this ecology effort to grow things and is is a stark contrast against Donald Trump, who's trying to bring back coal mining. Why?
Feel the
Why? Can somebody tell me why we're bringing coal mining back?
Because he's a dumbass? Oh, he does say that our coal is the cleanest coal.
There's no such thing as
I know.
clean coal.
We do have the
I
cleanest
look.
coal.
I I want to say, do you understand that there's two words when you put them together: black and lung.
Coal. Yes, I know.
The man,
Black and lung, and you put those together, it's not good.
the
Hey,
man,
what do I
the
know? I'm only getting $2 this year versus
mhm.
30. So
Johnny Two Dolls.
Donnie $2.
Um, I mean
But
the companies that are involved in in building and designing the power infrastructure, most of them won't even do coal projects anymore.
Right, right.
They might do them overseas, where in like third world countries where they have to start somewhere, but uh here, no. So that's just stupid.
It's
But I mean, did
asinine.
you hear about his wild ideas about new holidays? He's gonna
Oh,
observe
Veterans Day is
May
going to be
8th
World
as
War One something
victory
day.
victory day for World War II, which yeah, well, the war didn't end until it was over in Japan, dumb shit. And then he's gonna make November 11th victory day for World War II. I had dinner with my ex tonight and she was like, and she's been in the guard for 29 years and she was in the regular army for 6 years before that. And she's like, when is Cadet Bone Spurs Day?
Right,
Like a
right.
great way for him to,
no, we're not
you
going
know,
to get a day before he gets his face carved on the Rushmore Monument. Which I'm just going to tell you,
No.
I hope a terrorist takes a Stinger missile to that thing and defaces it.
well, I mean, good Lord. They're gonna have to it'll have to cross a state line or two. I'm not sure Mount Rushmore is big enough.
That- oh, that's well,
Mm,
no, hey, Linda, Lindsey Graham was the one that said that um, he wanted the conclave to be open to Trump being Pope.
and you
Right,
know what I
because
think? The Catholic
it's
Church is corrupt as hell, so who better to run it than him?
Well, and Linda, here's the thing about that. So, for Trump to be the Pope, he would have to take a vow of celibacy. That ain't that ain't happening. He'd
Yeah,
have to take a
poverty
vow of
isn't gonna go
celibacy.
over big either. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he'd have to understand the Bible. He doesn't get that either.
Well, you don't need that to be a Catholic. They don't even
No,
read
no,
the
but
fucking
for
thing.
you to be a cardinal, I mean, you almost
oh, he would change the rules though. I mean, you would be able to, have sex with prostitutes. It'd be okay then. I mean, really, let's be honest. He would change it up to how he wanted it.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things I'd rather do than be the Pope. You want to know what I'd rather do than be the Pope?
Wash your hair.
No, I'd rather
With kerosene.
I'd rather lick a hooker's ass.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm. Mhm.
Eileen, I'm sorry. We have really a good time here and it's really fun, but it's also, I don't hold back.
My
Eileen, I
gosh.
don't hold back. So if you're expecting me to hold back or to stop cussing, it's not going to happen.
How could how could John Paul have been in lineage from Peter? John Paul was from Poland. That made they made a big deal about that he was the
Yeah, but
Mm.
well, Like the whole the whole John Paul and John Paul II thing, that whole transition was very peculiar to me. I never understood, the John Paul issues. I
Well,
mean,
no, Pope Paul, I think, was who preceded John Paul. But wasn't Pope Paul Italian? I thought.
I think so. That's the thing. My
I
understanding of
just
look, my understanding of papal history goes back to 465 when we had Pope Hilarious.
Only to 465.
Right, because that we had Pope Hilarious. So I feel like if Trump were going to be Pope, he should become Pope Hilarious II.
Yeah, there you go.
Pope Hilarious.
Fred, Paul is not dead. That's John. Well, and George.
Right, yeah, I know.
Maybe
Craig,
Ringo.
don't be going. Wait, Ringo's still alive though, right?
Is Ringo still alive? Okay.
I
Yeah, I like Ringo. I like Ringo probably better than the other three. I mean, I was too young to be into the Beatles, but
I don't know. I mean, I was legitimately not much of a Beatles fan.
I wasn't not a Beatles fan. No.
No. I see. I grew up being a David Gilmour fan, so I at heart I will always be a Pink Floyd fan.
Well, I mean, I probably would have been a fan of John if he hadn't been yoked up with Yoko.
Yoko.
Good God, that broad could screech the paint off a car. I mean, have you ever heard her try to sing? Oh my God! So
No, it's not great, but let's look. Okay.
mm,
There's a lot
Tell
of
it
mean
like it is.
There's a lot of mean jokes going around about Yoko Ono, and I'm not going to be one to perpetuate one of those in this live.
nope.
Christina, right? I'm not going to dig on the Beatles.
I'm not picking on the Beatles. Yoko wasn't a Beatle. God damn it!
I know.
No matter what she might have thought.
I'm so
No,
sorry, Christina.
Yoko Ono was John Lennon's fuck up. I mean, I like how he was not a good person. I have a bigger problem with that than I have him not being the whole Beatle thing or whatever. Like all the shit that came out about John Lennon after he was shot, like he beat his wife and how he treated his kids. Oh yeah, after that I was like,
oh, that's
I mean, like I guess he was as bad as Bing Crosby was to his kids. And Bing Crosby, there was one of his kids who was a little overweight, and Bing Crosby constantly made fun of that kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a
wow.
thing. There's a thing, Beth. Don't ever meet your heroes. Don't ever meet your heroes.
I guess.
Yeah, you just don't want to, because they're not living in the fucking ivory tower that you put them in.
Exactly. They're not.
I mean, I went to see Pink Floyd at Grant Park here in Atlanta, and I had backstage passes, and I went backstage, and I met David Gilmour, and I just looked at him and like, okay, so when the show's over, you're drinking and smoking and just being a regular person. He's like, yep. And I went, okay, I mean, that's what I would expect.
Nice.
That's
Authentic people.
Yeah. Like I said, just like this live, real people. I want to talk to real people. I don't want to talk to news bitches and shit. Fuck that.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh boy, okay.
People are talking about, what kind. If you've ever read anything about his mother, oh my God. I mean,
he himself is out of his mind.
Well, I know, but yeah, after being raised by her, oh my God, she probably trained those kids, toilet trained them at gunpoint or something. I mean, it was just,
okay.
awful.
So now I have to ask. You have to educate us.
Well, she came from a real, wealthy Catholic family. And when she married him, when she married RFK, she she said she wanted to have more babies than Rose Kennedy had, and Rose Kennedy had 9 kids. But one of her kids later on disputed that, David, her son, and he died when he was like 25 or something like that. Um, but he said at one point, he said, the house just after his dad died, his mom never wanted to have 11 kids, and the house looked like a shithole, and she was always having screaming rages, and she let people hang around them that were you know like predators and all that kind of thing,
Jeez.
because she just couldn't be bothered. Once her husband died, she just fell apart.
Mhm.
And um, so, yeah, I mean, from what it sounds like, it wasn't any kind of a healthy environment, and which is another
Jeez.
reason I'm not really fond of Catholic. I mean, you hear about all those. Remember the Yours, Mine, and Ours family, the movie with Henry
Yes.
Fonda and Lucille
Yes.
Ball.
Oh yeah, okay,
Okay,
yeah, of course.
one of the Lucille Ball played a woman named Helen North, who married a man named Frank Beardsley. After they were both gone, one of Helen's sons wrote about what their life
My glass
in that
sometime.
house was really like. And it was just a nightmare. I guess Frank was just a, you know, drunken bully, and he abused his stepdaughters and daughters and all kinds of things.
Mm.
And his mother, he said, was, a Catholic martyr. When she met him, she saw
Mhm.
how his 10 kids were all freaked out, and she went in there and brought her own kids in there thinking that she would make the environment safe. And instead, she just brought her own kids into that dangerous environment. When Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda came to shoot the movie in California,
Right.
at one point, Lucille pulled Helen aside and said, "You keep that man away from me." And she meant the husband,
Oh.
Frank. I mean, it was that fucked up,
Oh.
you know. I mean, you're not meant to have kids until your vagina falls out. It's like my mom had 5 and she was completely overwhelmed,
I had
you
4.
know?
My vagina was falling out for sure.
Well, I mean, I was the last of the 5, and the last 2 of us really were not intended to be born and were raised accordingly in a lot of ways. I mean, I love my parents. They were good people. They're both gone now. What's done is done. But that's one reason that I'm such a fervent abortion rights activist, is because you cannot make someone who really doesn't want to have a baby be a parent, you know?
Right.
I
I
mean,
agree.
so, and that's also why I get mad at people who are, well, what about rape? What about incest? It's like women don't owe trauma. Not wanting to be pregnant is reason enough. Not wanting to have another baby or a baby at all is reason enough,
I
you know?
agree.
So
So,
but
We don't
anyway,
like
I'm
have to
sorry. That
we
got
don't
me
have to
way off.
mansplain that.
That got me way off. Like, I'm sorry. I was trying to rip apart Robert Kennedy Jr., but um,
well, but like but
The worm brain?
he has like 13 brothers and sisters, right?
there were 11 kids in that family.
Right. So
Mhm.
I've always been curious about it. So after Bobby got shot, what
Mm.
happened? I mean, Ethel never remarried, right?
No, oh no, she wasn't gonna give up the Kennedy name.
No.
Her
Right.
family had her family had money of their own, but she also depended on the Kennedy family's money,
Mm.
Right.
and um, it just was there was no way she would ever get remarried. So,
But like,
but I mean,
like out of those kids, like there's like 2 of them that died from drug overdoses, I think.
David died of a drug overdose. I'm trying to think of who the other one was that.
I don't. Yeah, David Anthony Kennedy was the
Yeah,
one who died from a
Mm.
drug overdose.
yeah. She was pregnant with the last one, Rory, when Robert Kennedy was killed. She had
Rory,
just found
Rory
out.
Elizabeth Kennedy.
Yeah, she had just found out that she was pregnant when he was killed. So,
Mm.
yeah.
I'm actually shocked that Bobby's kid, RFK Jr., has not lobbied for the FBI to declassify all of the shit around his dad's murder. Because Bobby was assassinated just like his brother, right? I mean,
Yeah,
by
but there was no doubt about who did it. I mean,
Right.
he walked into a crowd of, everybody saw it. There wasn't any.
I
There
mean,
wasn't any.
but like it was a mob thing, right? I mean, that's
I've heard that was behind John Kennedy's assassination. I don't know. I think if
well,
anything,
I don't know. I mean, the FBI
John
declassified
Kennedy's
all that.
assassination is the one that they really don't want to let people know anything about. But
I can't imagine why.
mhm. Well, mm-mm.
No, I'm serious. I legitimately can't imagine why. I don't. It's like it's like the MLK one. Trump wanted to declassify the MLK assassination docs, and I'm like,
Mm.
why? We sort of all know what that was about.
Well,
Because he seems to think that it's just he's revealing new information. He's just
mhm,
ridiculous. Nothing's
well,
new.
anything to keep. I mean, look at him now. He's trying to, resurrect World War I and World War II. He thinks if he brings all this shit back, that it'll somehow be the 1950s again.
But
You
why
know,
the hell are we why are we tolerating this?
Okay, here's the thing. I can answer that question. Why are we
Okay.
tolerating? Okay, we're tolerating this shit because Trump wants to return America to the height of the industrial era that we were in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Because
mhm,
he believes that he doesn't believe in what they call post-industrial decay,
mhm,
which all industrial societies go through this. You go through
mhm,
post industrialization, there's a bunch of fallout, and then you evolve and you go past that.
mhm,
China is going through that and past it.
mhm,
But because of it's post capitalist rot, is what
mhm,
it is. And so
mhm,
Trump desperately wants to hold on to, his capitalist egocentric, there's only me and not everybody else,
mhm,
you know, this this is mine, it belongs to me. He's attached to that, he can't let that go. Here's the problem. We're already in post-capitalist decay.
mhm,
You can't reverse it. Um,
mhm.
Global economies are all depending on other global economies to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, when we go into the next 3 or 4 weeks where um,
I saw that.
supply chains disappear. You laugh about it. I saw a real funny TikTok video today where there was a girl in the TikTok video and she was pretending to be a Trump supporter and she's like, "Why can't I only get apples and oranges in your produce section? Where's all the strawberries, avocados, and bananas?" And the girl tells her, is like, because those come from Mexico and we can't stock that because we're tariffing Mexico and it's too expensive. Well,
Mhm,
you're just blaming that on Trump. That's bullshit. You can't blame that on Trump. You just got a bad shipment or something. I'll come back. And so then, like, she goes to another store. I went to this store and you don't have any strawberries, bananas, or avocados. Why is that? Because Trump is tariffing Mexico, and Mexico produces those fruits and vegetables for the U.S. and we can't afford to stock those. Well, that's just bullshit. You're just blaming Trump. And then finally, like, they have her go to like a Toyota dealership, and she's like, "Yeah, how come this red truck is the only truck you're selling, and it's $145,000?" Well, that's because all Toyota cars come from China and Japan, and those are being tariffed, and we can't afford to ship those cars here. Well, shit, maybe I should have never voted for Trump.
You think? I paid
But yeah, I mean,
$5 for a pound of strawberries this afternoon. I took off work at noon and I went to Hem House to pick up a few things on the way home. And those strawberries looked so good. And I bought some a couple of weeks
Those
before
sound
for
good.
like $2.50 a pound, and they were twice that now. So
right. Here in Atlanta, a carton of 12 eggs, like
mhm.
brand name eggs, is $8.
Yeah, they got up to 9. I noticed back in February.
Mhm.
They're about
Yeah.
they're about 4 something now. I usually
I
only
mean,
buy a half dozen at a time because I live by myself, so I don't use them up fast enough.
right.
But
So you buy like the
um,
little half,
the little half thing, the
yeah,
little
the
old
little
lady
half
egg,
6 1,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but no,
But
I mean, so when all the supply chain runs out for all
mhm,
the countries that we can't afford to import goods from because we're tariffing them out the ass,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yep.
people are
Yeah.
going to be hurting.
Oh, I know. I mean, I think there's people that are already hurting, you know? I mean, but I don't
There's
think
nothing coming in the docks here in Seattle.
yeah.
I read a report earlier today, Beth, that said that your ports are like empty
They are.
Mhm,
and there's nothing. And
yeah.
so
It's scary. It's getting scary.
Well,
um I I I I I
Get that book done.
so
No pressure.
I look,
I
I'm
mean,
really trying to, I promise you,
my dad worked in the steel industry, and in the 60s and 70s, and you know, he made a good living. He was a draftsman. He wasn't on the shop
Mm.
floor. He started out on the shop floor. And in fact, I have a funny story about that if Wendy will let me tell it.
oh, tell it.
When I was born, which was in 1965, I was an RH baby, and I stayed in the hospital 3 weeks.
Mm.
And they had to replace all the blood in my body 3 times.
Okay.
And my dad, his union friends at the steel mill, all lined up to give blood transfusions, to give
Oh,
blood for
wow.
transfusion for me. So I told him that's why I have such a filthy mouth, all those steel workers' blood in me, whatever nice little girl blood I started out with is fucking gone. But anyway, um, when Reagan was elected in 1980, I remember my parents being very, they were real pro Reagan and everything else. And within a year and a half, my dad had been forced into retirement. He was only 56, and
Mm.
they were like, you can either stay and take a chance that you get laid off, or you can go ahead and, start drawing a pension and, you know,
Mm.
and that way you won't lose. And he'd only been there 18 years, I think, when he retired.
Jeez.
Right.
And
Jeez.
he got the laugh on them though, because he lived another almost 40 years and drew that pension.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, I mean, if Trump thinks he's going to bring back, factory job, I mean, why does he think that shit left in the first place? They found machines to learn how to do things. I mean, when I started my career in 1984 as a secretary, I worked with typewriters and I worked with paper.
Mhm.
If I went somewhere and said, I'm not going to work for you unless I get to use, an IBM Selectric and I want a ream of paper every 3 days. I mean, yeah, they laughed me out the fucking door.
Yeah.
But he's not dealing with the real world. The son of a bitch never had to work for a living, you know?
No.
Um,
There's no concept of the real world.
mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm. Yeah. I mean,
Beauty.
and, um, the manufacturing that is still left in the United States, a lot of it, they use robots, and
Yep.
automated stuff.
Yep.
So if he really thinks he's going to, put all the 9-year-olds to work as breaker boys in the coal mine, good luck with that.
Oh, yeah,
So,
'cause aren't they making it so, young kids can work? Yeah.
No, they want
so
to be able to get married and work. Everything else.
Yeah, they certainly like those young ones, don't they?
Oh yeah.
So what I think I hear you telling me is that we
Um,
we need to have an education session about post-capitalist America and why.
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, well, give me 24 hours.
yeah.
I'll cook up something. But yeah, the idea that we can go back to the way it was at the height of the industrial era in the U.S. is bullshit. I as much as it has been, I will say this until I'm
Hold
blue
on.
in the face.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, when people were like, "You can't buy American anymore. If you bought all American goods, you'd spend too much money." It was like that back in the late 80s.
Mhm.
We're 30 years ahead of that, and it's even more so to the fact.
Mhm.
You just can't. I mean, you can't. Uh, 35% of American lumber comes from Canada.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask Evelyn this question while she was on earlier, but the fact of the matter is, house building has screeched to a halt.
I
Mhm.
can speak on that.
Oh, okay, great.
I can speak on that because I just left my job at a land developer, and we also did some residential home building,
Mhm.
and it has indeed come to a halt out here. It's not going well out here in Western Washington.
Right.
Mhm.
Houses are sitting on the market an exceptional long time.
Well, I mean, shit, with what they want for them? Are you fucking kidding me? I
Oh
saw a
yeah.
listing in Baser, Kansas, which is on the western edge of the Kansas City metro area. And this house looked like a fucking prison. It was all gray and black and grim looking. They wanted $725,000 for this house. That's ridiculous.
No, we
Um,
purchased our home. It was our forever home. It closed in September,
mhm,
and we put our whole life into it.
mhm,
Under the because there was no way Trump was gonna get into office, right? No
right.
way. We were smarter than that. Apparently not.
Mhm,
And, so we thought, "Okay, well, next year we'll refi."
mhm,
Then I walked out of my job working for a narcissist, who was very much like Trump, uh,
mhm,
New Year's Eve day, and it's like, "Shoot, you know, our house won't move if I needed to sell it."
mhm,
Um, what a mess.
yeah.
Mhm.
That doesn't feel good.
No.
No,
In
no.
that regard, I'm glad to be poor white trash enough that I've never owned a house. I
Mm,
live in a housing cooperative now, so and I don't live in Overland Park, Wendy. Good Lord. Don't besmirch my
I thought you
reputation like
lived in
that.
Overland Park.
I work in Overland Park on the days I go to my office.
Okay.
But no, I live in the hood, man. I live in KCK, which is like, if Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas were Dallas and Fort Worth, I live in Fort Worth.
mm,
No.
Why? So, like, I'll just tell
Mhm.
you, I guess that's where her ex, my partner's ex, wants to move, is Kansas City. So,
mhm,
uh,
mm.
uh, I mean, I hate to ask this question, Elaine, but do you live on the slash Whitey or stab Whitey side of town?
Oh my god.
I live in Kansas City, Kansas, which is working class in the extreme.
Oh,
The neighborhood I live in is probably majority Hispanic. The neighborhoods around it are mostly black. Um,
Diverse.
well,
so,
I bet Hispanic
Diverse.
neighborhoods are actually those tend to be. I People will laugh. I tend to find those neighborhoods to be very nice to live in
Yes,
mhm,
always.
because
Yeah.
most Latin people I know are very nice people.
mhm, yeah,
Mhm.
Um,
I agree. Yeah.
I lived in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood at one time, and like getting people to help do shit to my house was easy.
mhm, yeah,
Um,
Because people, they care about their communities.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
Their neighbors, their communities, helping others. Yeah.
Well, it's like I love telling the story. My New Mexico experience.
Mm.
They did a holiday in New Mexico at one time, and in New Mexico, especially Santa Fe, the Santa Fe area, if somebody lives in Santa Fe, they can confirm this. On Christmas Eve day at dinner time, all of the people, because most of the people that live in Santa Fe live in those houses that have like the Spanish courtyard
Oh, yeah.
with the
Oh,
with the
pretty.
stucco or whatever. Yeah. And so you go out, you walk out of your house, and you walk up and down the street of your neighborhood, and people are cooking food and they're sharing it with people. And so I remember we walked into this one courtyard or whatever, and this she had to be, I swear, like a 90-year-old Latin woman who spoke no English, and I was cold because I didn't grab my jacket. And she walked up behind me and she put this really heavy blanket around me and she's here. And like her son, who was like in his 50s, oh, my mom said, put that around you and you'll stay warm. And so I was like, oh my God, this feels amazing. And so I went to leave. Well, I went to leave. I took it off and I went to hand it to her. And she went, no, 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 you take. And
Yep.
I went to her dad, her son, and I'm like, I guess your mom's telling me to take this. Oh, yes, she makes those. And I'm like, but this is amazingly pretty and well made and well taken
And you
care
damn
of.
well better take it.
And so, and he's like, oh no, she will get mad if you don't. And I'm like,
Yep.
but will she have another one? Oh, she'll make another one in a week and it'll be just as good, but just take it. And I was like, oh my
Oh,
God,
wow.
this is
Yeah.
amazing. I feel special.
Oh.
And so, yeah, like when communities do that kind of outreach, I think that's fucking amazing.
It is awesome.
And
The
so,
little community, the little book huts and the little food pantries that they have within communities. I mean, just those little things
Yeah,
mean
we
so
have those
much to people. It's
yeah, we
just
have those in our
kindness.
cooperative. We have a little free library, and then we have a food pantry. So,
Nice.
see, that's the kind of local community engagement we need to have to get through all
Yes.
of this shit because
Mm-hmm.
nobody else is going to do it for us. So
No, we need to start looking out
I'll
for each other.
yeah, I'll just tell you this. The recession, Wendy's recession survival guide. I'll get that out in a month and a half.
Okay.
I'll get that out and get it put on electronic services so that
You might
everybody.
want to change it up to depression guide at this point.
That's the depression guide because God,
Fuck.
how could we? Yeah, I mean, how the fuck did we get here? I don't know.
How do we, I mean, and trying to navigate it. I'm just a regular person, you know? It's like I worry about family, I worry about people I know. Um I live very close to that Tacoma ice facility. I would like to go in there and just bust everyone out, but not possible. It's
yeah,
just sad. It's all just sad.
I agree with Eileen.
Yeah,
I mean,
Eileen,
What did she say?
that's why I live in the poor side of town. I mean,
yeah,
I got people who
I,
don't even want to come to my neighborhood. It's like, why?
Eileen, I'm just gonna tell you, Eileen, you need to be ready to come into the live session the next time that you come
Yes.
because you have typed enough that I've deemed it necessary for you to
Mm.
actually to talk. So you've been warned, Eileen.
Eileen, couple Fridays ago, I just see something pop up that somebody Wendy has went live, and I went, "What is this?" And there I was, called in. Never before did something like this ever, but met such a wonderful group of people that I'm glad that I just showed up.
Yeah, Eileen, we're fun people, but so just be ready. I will see
Be
you
ready.
again, and I'm gonna invite you, and you need to come and talk because the whole purpose of the live is just for normal people to bitch about their
Mhm.
Well,
problems.
then what the hell did you ask me to come in here for?
And of course,
Look,
we know.
you know what? You're stroking a really hairy
I
pussy.
almost said it. I just was ready to say it, and there she is stroking her pussy.
Hey, and it's a
Almost
guy.
said it.
It's a
Live.
guy pussy. This was the only male that I allowed to live with me.
I got this little guy.
Oh,
Eileen, are you on your computer or are you watching the live on your phone? Let's find out.
It's 3.
I'm three.
Wow, Eileen, that's a lot of pussy.
Well, I
just have to
guess
say.
technically I have 3 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have three now. But
okay, perfect. All right, so Beth, I'm gonna drop you out before we.
Drop me off. See you later. Have fun.
Okay, here we go. So let's do this. Eileen, you should see a pop up notification come up. Here, let's
I
see.
used to have 5, Muddy. I used to have 5 tennis. Actually, I had 6 for a while, but that was kind of ridiculous.
Oh
my God. Hi.
Hello,
perfect. Okay, great. So
I'm
Arizona.
Yeah, I'm traumatized. I'm really trying to be active in my legislative District 13 Democrats. We met at Chandler City Council this morning with our state senator and one of the representatives. They're all Republicans. We had one state rep for 3 2-year sessions that was a Democrat, and then we lost. We're all Republican now. I'm dying. I'm how am I going to ever meet anybody in Arizona? I'm not vegan. Oh my God. I'm trying to be vegetarian. I don't think I'll ever be vegan. Um, I'm I'm a bleeding heart liberal. I went to UCLA. I live in frickin' Arizona because I was married for 25 years and I'm divorced and ended up anyway. Such a long story. I don't even know where to start. I think I'm losing my mind because of this. I'm reading Heather Cox Richardson every day and following these activists in California, Jessica Craven and Robert Hubble, and I'm losing my freaking mind.
So
so
where did you live before Arizona?
I grew up in Southern California, a suburb of Los Angeles, San Gabriel.
okay. So here's the first thing I'm gonna tell you, because if I don't tell you this, Craig will get angry at me.
I have no makeup on. God help me. Okay.
Okay. First of all, subscribe to our publication.
Okay. I might have. I think I'm a free subscriber. Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, because you came on the live, I'm gonna give you a treat. I'm gonna comp you paid for 30 days.
Okay. Thanks.
So that you can read our content. Just do me one favor.
Okay.
Do not read my biography.
Well, I was watching one of your lives and you said people were like, I want to hear more. I think. Remember that was like they read and then they're like, okay, well anyway, but
Yeah, people away okay, so you have an AOL address?
I do.
Okay. So here you go. Here you go. I'm not bad mouthing you, by the way. I'm not bad mouthing you. There you go. So you're a paid subscriber now for 30 days.
Oh, thank you.
So you can search through my archive. I will tell you, I have written in the last 9 months. I'm a very prolific writer. I have written damn near almost 1,000 articles
Wow.
in the last, yeah. I stayed pissed off in almost a perpetual state of mind. So here's the thing. So there's the morning meditation post and there's the meditation guidance. So here's how you read the publication.
Okay.
If you're really, really depressed or you're really, really upset about the way things are going, read the paid for posts, because all of the paid for posts are the positive. This is how you get through the bullshit crap. The meditation guidance always clarifies the meditation. And I tell this to everybody. If you have the app on your phone, have the app read the daily meditation to you in the morning. I guarantee you it will be the most relaxing experience you've ever had in your life.
Okay.
Because apparently the voice that the Substack app uses
Charming British.
reads Gaelic, because I write those meditations in Gaelic in a very soothing way.
Wow.
Yes, because I'm a polyglot. I know basically 9 languages.
Oh, man. I have to show
Well,
you my cats right now. I'm sorry. I'm like,
wait, wait.
Oh,
that's
My
That's Murphy, and that's Truffles. She's 16. And then Fig is my tuxedo cat. He's sort of a crazy. He's around somewhere. All right. Anyway, I love Murphy. He's getting me through all of this.
so
Okay.
so yeah, so the paid for posts are the posts that you read to like cheer yourself up about the shit that's happening. But basically,
Mm.
um, there's the meditation, then there's the meditation therapy, and then there's the Voices of America, which is this is how fucked up it is. This is what Trump has done. That's basically my news update post. But then the actions of a diverse America are the things that you can do to survive this bullshit.
Mhm.
And so there's a whole bunch of those that have been archived. I guarantee you, if you go out and read them, you'll be like, oh, okay, this makes way more sense than what the news media is saying. And so a large portion of our readership exists because I changed up to that posting structure. But then the other thing too is that, yeah, I don't sleep a whole lot at night. So when I
Mm.
don't sleep at night, my phone sits in front of my face and I voice to text shit so that when I get up in the morning, then I just sort of like, oh, I like
There
voice
goes
to,
Fig.
oh gosh, that's so cute.
I'm sorry. I'm okay. I Anyway, that's Fig. All right.
That's
That's all
cute.
Fig.
Anyway, so
Okay.
so yes, if you're a free, you're now a paid subscriber. Just
Okay.
read, but don't read my biography. My biography is very depressing. It's very sad. Apparently, everybody thinks it's written really well.
Well, yeah, that's what yeah.
People think it's written really well. I don't know about that, but so I just if you read my biography, you'll hate me as a person. If you already don't like trans people, you will like trans people less.
I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I don't really care what anybody is or does as long as they're nice to me.
Oh wait, so that's like you're like one of those Emerson people.
Is that yeah, I don't know.
Every person should read Emerson's like Walden Pond or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Just
I mean, I don't
everybody read that and chill out.
like yeah, I don't even know how to describe Unitarian Universalists. We're a bunch of collection of God, I hope that nobody on here is a UU, but like we're a bunch of freaks. Anyway, I just went on this like Prescott retreat and the young gal that I carpooled with, she's like, you know, we're talking about ADD and ADHD, and I was just told that I was hyper as a child. I've never been, my older daughter's on, medication so she can focus and get through. She's graduating from Oregon State University. Woo! Go Beavs. Go Beavers. That's funny. I don't know.
your mind out of the
Look,
gutter.
I
I
know. So I'm trying to like fit in with you guys. Like, I don't know. Like,
look.
yeah.
I'm just gonna. Do you know what a druid is?
No, I mean, I think there might be some at that go to my Valley Unitarian Universalist congregation. We have Wiccans.
Yeah,
And then
Wiccans and druids tend to
y-
get. I.
yeah, I don't really know any personally. I mean, Druids. Yeah, I don't. I'm a
Well, now
quarter.
you know.
I'm a
Now
quarter
you
Irish. I got some Scottish. I don't know.
now you personally know a druid. I basically I hate using the term tree hugger, but that I'm a tree hugger.
Oh,
Yes, I'm a
yeah.
tree hugger. Yeah. So I, from a but I will tell you from a faith perspective, like I said, I know a bunch of languages, and I have a stupidly large amount of knowledge about a variety of different topics. Um, if you want to deconstruct Christianity, I won't say why. I'm a really good person to have that conversation with.
Yeah, I went through my questioning phase and read all the like Christopher Hitchens and who was that other guy? I don't know. I mean, I'm an atheist and I go to church, so what the hell is that? I mean, what? I don't know.
Because here's the thing about that. I I know a lot of people who are. Churches are about community.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. Whatever
Mhm.
the fuck it is that you believe on, whatever it is that you believe, that's one thing. Go to church. I The aspect of going to church is to one educate you to be a religious person. If you don't want to be educated, you won't be. It's a fucking community.
Yeah.
It's a place
And
where people get together and eat
yeah.
food and be a community together. And so,
And Unitarian Universalists are all about social justice. I mean, I thought Catholic guilt was bad, but like, am I active enough doing social justice work? I think that guilt is worse than the Catholic guilt growing up.
yes, yes, much,
Yeah, the
yes,
pressure.
much.
I'm doing a carpool down to Tucson for Valley Interfaith Project, and I got roped into organizing this to work with Pima Interfaith Community to go to this. Oh God, I can't even. My brain, I can't even think of. It's all on Medicaid and influencing Cisco Mani, who's this Republican, one of our 9 representatives that we need to influence. And oh my God, my head is spinning. I can't.
Eileen, you're here with the rest of us. We all feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm interested in like reading the paid stuff, like the meditation and because I
I
mean, should I be reading Heather Cox Richardson every morning and freaking out, and Robert Reich every morning and freaking out, and I don't know, man.
I that
A
see I
shower with Heather Cox Richardson most mornings.
What's that now? Oh, you.
A shower with Heather Cox Richardson.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
That's
listen to
just
her while I'm in the shower.
yeah, and
I've actually talked to her before. She's actually really fun to chat with.
Mhm.
wow.
Well, I'm a free
Um,
subscriber to her. I don't.
but like her and Jeff Teeter, I've talked to Jeff Teeter too.
Oh my God, I love him.
Oh, I don't
I
know. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I think
it
I've seen his Substack posts. They like float up. I don't know if there's some weird algorithm,
it is a
or did I
weird
follow
algorithm.
him?
It is a weird algorithm. Don't try to figure it out.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
I think his recent post was whack. I mean, it was
yeah,
all
he uses the
he,
word he uses the word fuck almost as much as I do.
and he had clips of no, and he was comparing um I can't say his name because he's so horrible. Um Stephen Miller, and he was comparing him to Nosferatu in his
Yes,
videos and
Mhm.
stuff. That was just today, I
yes.
think. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I've been a founding member of Jeff Tiedrick's Substack for a
Yeah,
while.
okay, okay.
Roy
So
Adroso is good too.
yeah. But like my big go tos Richardson, Tiedrick, Scott Dworkin,
Oh yeah.
and then Craig's gonna the Wonkette people.
Mm.
So Wonkette, Wonkette. That's
Mhm.
Rebecca Sharts,
TTE,
whatever.
okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
Craig dropped the link. Um,
Oh,
and those are like my 5 like paid founding and paid uh, uh, uh,
oh yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
subs. And I talk to a collective of those people fairly regularly, and so yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah,
The opinionated ogre is good too,
there you go,
and the
right there.
mouthy renegade writer.
Wonkette.com. So
Mhm.
Okay.
I will tell you, if you read our shit, like half of our shit is not going to be like stressful shit.
Okay.
I try to do like the 1 or 2 articles a day that are like, this is how the world is falling apart. And then the rest of the shit I write to try to encourage people not to think about that.
Yeah, because like Midas Touch, man, I was kind of like listening to some of their videos and following, and then I like flamed out with Midas Touch, and like I'm not even like reading any of their stuff anymore.
No, the Bisalus brothers are really good journalists. They
Yeah.
report things really, really well, but they hammer the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they publish more per day than I do. and I would say I'm prolific. But they're like, I mean, they're hammering it. And so if you hang on their channel, yeah, you're gonna get like everything that's going on, but I don't think you really want to have everything that's going on.
Hmm.
And then and it's like the same thing like with like news media or talking heads. It's like it's kind of drawn out, kind of like Michael Cohen. It's like, okay, I can just like dip in and be like, oh, okay, I got it, I'm good, you know. Because if you
Hmm.
hang with them, then you're just like beating the shit out of the topic,
Hmm.
and I'm like, God, I don't want to live my life. I don't know, man.
The only legacy media I read anymore, I read the AP Wire, mainly to check and see about things that
You're
people
right.
people throw
Yeah.
shit around without checking, without looking to see, whether it really happened or whether, and so I always go to AP or Snopes
Oh
to
yeah,
look stuff up.
Snopes. Yeah. Oh
But
yeah,
I
like that
also,
letter that Tommy Lee supposedly wrote that keeps getting. I'm like, what? That's go to Snopes and look at the history of who
mhm.
posted it first. And
But there's a YouTube channel I like. It used to be called Beau of the Fifth Column, and now his
oh
wife
yeah,
is doing it
Yep.
because he got burnt out. So Belle of the Ranch. Oh, she had a great letter the other
oh
day. Said somebody had written to her, some conservative had sent her an email and called her Barn Barbie.
Well,
whoa.
I read every day would soak up Gabe Fleischer's Wake Up on Politics. The problem
Hmm.
is, yeah, after a while, you get so burned out on it
Hmm.
Oh,
that
Jess Piper, the rural Missouri gal, she spoke at our Save Our Schools fundraiser celebration of Arizona Public Education fundraiser. Jess Piper, yeah. Man,
Hmm.
she's fighting the good fight out in rural Missouri.
right.
Not at all the
So,
easiest place to be.
so
No.
from our perspective, I try to run a very balanced publication with enough like this. The world is not ending work leveraged by a larger body of it'll be okay, and this is how we just get through it.
I loved what you guys were talking about, like with the knitted throw from the
Yeah, that's
woman.
so.
The
I'll
It's
tell you
just
why.
so comforting. Oh,
So I'll tell you why. So as a druid, one of the 3 certifications you go through as a druid is the bardic certification, and the entire focus of that religious certification is storytelling, because in the druid tradition, uh, oral traditions and storytelling is important. I love to tell stories. I'm 53 years old. I have seen a lot of shit, and I have a shit ton of stories that go with all of the stuff that I have. And I love to tell those stories. So if you come onto our lives, I will tell those stories, and it's just fun to listen to them. You know, I
well, the
and
whole
I
Irish, you think about the Irish and the literary and the Yeats and the
Yep.
Keats, or who am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, I can't think of the authors, the famous Irish
William Butler Yeats.
Yeats.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
there's a quote that was on his tombstone, and my
Mhm.
sister and I believe, I'm like, did I read about someone going and seeing this, or did I actually do this? I studied in Ireland for a year through education abroad through UCLA at Dublin, at Trinity College in Dublin. And my sister came out and visited. We did like a road trip. And I swear, I think we saw his actual grave, and in the engraving is, let's see if I can remember it. Um, Cast a cold eye on life, on death, horsemen pass by.
Right.
Yeah. Woo. Anyway.
So now you know what we do.
Yeah, okay. I feel kinda weird, like, just I feel like I kind of it's bizarre, like, technology. I just kinda, like, I beamed in. You beamed me in. And
No, 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 no.
not oh my god, I love Mork and Mindy, Rob. I was binge watching that like before the election. And now I'm binge watching 8 is Enough. These are my escape. Yeah.
Oh my God, retro TV is amazing. I don't care what anybody says.
Before people were on cell phones, like people wow, it's just whoa.
Look, I asked my kids today if they knew what a collect call was.
Oh.
They looked at me like I was stupid.
Well, you
What's
should try and explain to them what.
Is that a call where you collect something? No.
Oh.
So then
You
I
know,
asked
really
my
blow their
kids.
mind.
Then I asked my kids. I'm like, "Do you know what a Rolodex is?"
Mhm.
Rolodex. And my, "Do- Mom, do you mean Rolex? And I'm like, no, no, I don't. And then I asked my kids, do you know what dial-up is? And they were like,
Oh.
Okay.
That was like 96. I mean, that's not that long ago.
And then, but
You're
this was the
30.
big one.
I
This
guess
was
it's
the big one. I said, if you walk up to somebody and say, be kind and rewind, why are you telling them that?
Tie a rope and hang on, or what was that? The cat with the hang.
Oh, if you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and
Do
hang
not
on.
hang
Yeah,
on.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Be
Or
kind
hang
and
in there,
rewind.
baby. The kitten on the pull-up bar. Hang in there,
Yeah,
baby.
hang in there,
Yeah,
baby.
hang in there. Right. Be kind and rewind it. And so then my partner who worked at Blockbuster was like, oh, you remember Blockbuster? And they were like, what's that?
Oh my God. Okay, so
Oh.
I'm a flight attendant and I'm on the jump seat on this long flight and I'm talking to this flight attendant and he was trying to describe where something about near the Chandler Mall and he's like, near the Blockbuster. And I'm like, and he was trying to say Best Buy. he got confused. Like it was it's and every time I see him, I'm like, hey, what'd you rent at Blockbuster? Did you return that tape yet? Like, what?
What weird dystopia have I crawled into?
Wrong
Telling
reference.
you.
Confused references. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my
I
God.
was trying to explain to one of my grandnieces once how if someone was on the phone and you called their house, you got a busy signal.
Oh yeah.
And you had to hang up and try again. And they were like, you mean you just couldn't do anything? And I said, well, no. Later on, they came up with call waiting, but you had to pay extra if you wanted that. Oh my God.
No, I had to explain to
Oh.
my kids. I had to
Yeah.
explain to my kids today what a slide projector was.
Mhm. And I mean, I'm not old enough to remember, but party lines where more than one household
Sorry. Did you guys
shared
hear
a,
that?
shared a phone.
No.
You know?
Oh yeah, someone tried calling me. My ringtone is "We're not gonna take it," and it scares the crap out of me because it's that drum beat at the beginning, and if I have my volume up, I'm like,
Okay, Eileen, I have to say, I love Elaine, but you might be my favorite reader now.
Eileen, Elaine, Helen.
Eileen,
What the hell?
Elaine. Yeah, Eileen. But I did want to say something about my mom's 90. She's gonna be 92 on May 6th. I'm flying out on Monday to. Okay. Anyway, it's so hard to talk to her on the phone, and she's like, well, maybe you should hang up and I'll call you back because this is gonna cost a lot. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, remember long distance plans and stuff? And she's still stuck on that. Like she gets confused. I'm like, Mom, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
a cell phone. You pay the same whether you talk on the phone or not. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and her hearing aids don't work, and my sister's dealing with. Oh God, okay, that's a whole nother. I'm grateful that my sister lives near my mom, and my dad's in skilled nursing, and he's 94. God, we could go on with Medicaid, Medicare, and oh my God, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
If my parents were both still around, they would both be turning 99 this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're both gone and didn't see this. My mom died 21 years ago.
Oh my
And
God, my dad.
my dad died 4 years ago. So.
Oh my gosh, my dad. The first election with the orange guy, he was saying, why hasn't anybody shot him yet? like, my dad's 94. He can say whatever the hell he wants. I don't care. And he's saying the same thing now. He's like, why hasn't anyone shot that bastard? Like, he doesn't say bastard, but, I can't believe no one's shot him yet. I'm like, Dad, the FBI is going to show up on my door or whatever if you keep saying that, like, whatever.
Mm.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Ladies,
Okay.
yes.
we're going to come down.
Okay. And I'm going to check out. I got homework. I'm going to.
Oh,
But-
yeah. Just don't read my biography. It's bullshit.
Okay, but before you dump me off of here, did you finish Allison's book yet?
No, I'm going to finish that tonight. No, I'm going to finish it. And then we're going to talk about that on Monday. Just be ready.
Oh my God,
Allison's
I'm so
book.
excited. I'll tell her about it on Facebook. Maybe she'll drop in.
Oh, was she the lady on here just before?
No,
No.
I'm talking about Allison Arngrim. She's an actress.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't even know who that is.
Did you watch Little House on the Prairie in the 70s?
Yes.
Of course.
She played
Yeah.
Nellie Olson.
Oh my gosh. Did you see the meme about like the Republicans as Nellie saying, I'm your friend?
Yeah,
Like,
I
or
made that
something.
meme.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I
yes.
made that.
I loved that. Oh my gosh. Oh, so she played Nellie. She didn't want to be like, it
Oh,
was
I don't know
hard.
that she started out not wanting to be, maybe, but
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, any role
yeah.
on TV, like anybody was like, that was
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, she wrote a book and she's hilarious. She's one of my Facebook friends, and not to,
Oh yeah,
name
name
drop
drop.
or anything
Yeah,
like. She
yeah.
actually talks to me. She messages me and stuff like that, and she supports the activism I do and everything.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
cool.
yeah, I told Wendy about her book her memoir that she wrote, which is hilarious. And if
Oh,
anybody
she
else
wrote a
in here
memoir.
hasn't
Okay.
heard of it,
Yes.
it's called
hysterical.
Confessions of a Prairie Bitch,
Yeah.
Wow.
Confessions
and
of a
it is
Prairie Bitch.
absolutely hilarious. So,
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, I worked with someone who was friends with the mom.
Mhm.
What?
Right.
Kathleen McGregor.
Kathleen McGregor. Yeah.
Nellie's mom or Laura's mom?
No, Laura's mom.
No.
Laura's mom was Karen Grassel.
Yeah.
Karen Grassel. Yeah. I thought it was weird to
I
know
don't know how
someone
it's.
who knew her, like, was friends
Mhm.
with her.
Mhm.
Or their aunt. No, it was a young flight attendant. I'm a flight attendant for Southwest. Anyway, young flight attendant. Been doing it for 29 years. I can't believe I've been doing it that long. Anyway, but her mom was friends with Karen Grassley. And she's like, do you know Little House of Prayer? I'm like, yeah. She's like, Karen. I'm like, no way. I don't know. Well, that's just a weird story, but yeah. It's just weird when people know famous people, like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Okay. I feel like I've
Okay.
rambled. Yeah.
I know.
You're all good, but it's 10:30.
But yeah, time to
Oh,
wrap it up.
yeah. 7:30 here because Phoenix doesn't change. We're Pacific time this time of year. So, yeah.
So I'm
Thank
gonna let
you.
you go, ladies, and then we're gonna. But yes, please go and read our stuff. I think you will not be.
Okay. Appreciate you. All right. Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Good
Okay.
night.
Good night.
All right, Elaine.
Yes. Good night.
Yep. So wow, really amazing session tonight. So I want to thank you all for joining in. For those of you that subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please be a subscriber. If you're a free subscriber, think about being a paid subscriber. It helps. It keeps the publication going. We get to have talks like this, and we can talk with each other. If you're a paid subscriber, I'm more likely to bring you into the live session and allow you to soapbox all you want. But with that, I would tell all of you, I love you all. Please be safe out there. Please stay safe. We can't get through this without you. I can't get through this without you. We can't get through this without each other. So please stay safe and stay strong. And we'll get through it. Good night, and I love you all.